worth more than another. It's not the killing of innocents that bothers you. It's who you are killing for that matters. How many teenage boys did Australia send off to war in foreign lands to die for king and country? I want to know, as an Australian citizen, what the Liberal government is doing to protect us from returning Israeli soldiers that are coming back to Australian soil after partaking in war crimes and being trained in violent, racist warfare against little kids. How much longer, I ask you, is the world prepared to sit back and watch this spectacular, barbaric genocide? In the time we have stood here tonight, more women and children were probably murdered violently by Israel. It is my humble opinion that soon we will not ask for the Arab League or global intervention. It will be too late. They will have bombed Gaza, they will have burned, they will have killed, maimed, plundered and looted. Then they will come, inevitably, to claim the land. And the Western world is delaying that action until Netanyahu, lahnatullah alayh, accomplishes that agenda. That brings me to my next load of criminals. Al-Saud, you are nothing but a fraud. You import your French prostitutes and ordering your toilets made of gold, wasting the wealth of the Ummah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you. Shame on you, your cohorts in evil, the emirs of nothing, Al-Sisi, Maktoum, Sabah, Al-Thani, King Abdullah and Assad. I say to you, Taqillah, Taqillah. How can you sit eating your piles of food and sleep while you hold back the armies of the Muslims? Wallahi, may Allah give you an end the same as that. May Allah give you an end the same as that of every tyrant oppressor, just like Gaddafi, who was pulled out of a sewer and shot with his own gun. Like my brothers, I call upon the soldiers under the rules of these corrupted Muslim leaders. Revolt now, defect now, walk away from your barracks, join the side of good. Do not fear them, only fear Allah. I'm wondering how much longer the world can stay silent and let this evil that is Israel prevail. It's occupation. It is not disputed land, as George Brandis said recently. What is occupation? Occupation is curfew, settlements, closed military zone, administrative detention, siege, preventative strike, terrorist infrastructure, transfer. Their war destroys even language. It all speaks of genocide to me, while the world is condoning it with its silence. Let us Muslims not betray the other Muslims suffering in the world by keeping silent. Occupation means that they cannot trust the open sky or any open street near to the gates of the snipers. Occupation means that you live out your life under military rule and the constant threat of death from a sniper's bullet or a rocket from an M16, when all you have to fight back is rocks. A crushing, suffocating death, a slow bleeding death in an ambulance or even in the sanctuary that one hopes is a hospital or a so-called UN safe zone school. We all saw last night what you do to safe zones. As their airstrikes begins, our Palestinian brothers and sisters, they die 1,000 small deaths while they watch their family dying around them. Occupation means that every day you die and the world watches in silence, as if your death was nothing, as if your death were a stone falling in the earth or water falling over water. And if you face all of this death and indifference and you keep your humanity and your love and your dignity and you refuse to surrender to Israeli terror, then you have learnt something of the courage that is Palestine.
Takbir! La ilaha illallah! Wa shahid Habibullah!
The most modern quote I have come across regarding the Palestinians is this: everything in the world is made in China, but not courage. Courage is now made in Palestine.
Takbir!
To our brother Musa Ser Antonio, who has been labelled a hate preacher, who is the real speaker of hate? Israeli government ministers calling Palestinians non-humans, animals and snakes that need to be raped and killed. That's what I call hate speech. Stay strong, Brother Musa. Even if you do not agree with what some of our brothers are doing in various parts of the world, at least spare them the wrath of your tongue, for you have not left your worldly life or your loved ones for the sake of Allah. Do not buy what the Western media is selling you. In Islam, we are told that if news comes to us, we must verify that before acting upon it. Remember that. The West has an agenda with its war on terror, and that is to change Islam from within. Be careful, all of you, from becoming a Rand Muslim. There is a war going on and all of you are the victims, and that war is for your heart and your mind. What can we do as Australians here? We have no cannons that roar. We can cry and we can feel the pain for our brothers and sisters in Palestine, Burma, Somalians in Kenya, China, Afghanistan, Iraq. But you can fight. You can fight with your dua. You can do your very best to fight with your wallet. Do not buy their products. Their products that you buy finance bullets and weapons that they use to kill our brothers and sisters. Boycott anything made in Israel. Make yourselves aware of the products that fund the Zionist state of Israel. They send their money to fund their evil entity that is Israel. Get a copy of the boycott lists. We are distributing one locally here in Australia and commencing tonight. Never, ever, ever stop the social media war with Israel. Fight back with your keyboards, because we are gaining ground in this war for our hearts and minds. We are gaining ground with our keyboards. In closing, I want to say, how did we get in this position that we are in? That we are humiliated, that we are so weak, that as my brother said, we have no supporters in the East, we have no supporters in the West. Boycott those things in your life that take you away from the deen of Allah. Boycott those things that you are doing that is causing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to be pleased with us. We are in such humiliation. We must turn back to Allah and His deen so that we may learn again to produce Muslims like Salahuddin, that we have made jealousy and have ghairah for our people and our deen. Bring it back. Bring back the ghairah for Islam. Be jealous for Islam. Do not cry for Palestine. As my brother said, they were killed in Ramadan. They ate their suhoor in the dunya and they had their iftar in Jannah, inshallah. The Palestinians in Gaza this month have escaped the hell that is Israel through their graves. I, for one, pledge never to be silent. I pledge that I will fear al-wahan. Al-wahan means to have in your heart a hatred of death and a loving for the dunya. I pledge for one not to have al-wahan in my heart. A man came to the Prophet and said, will we be large in number when the kuffar invite one another to attack us? And the Prophet ﷺ said, yes, yes, you will be many in number. You will be as if you are the foam on the sea, the scum of the ocean. But there will be something wrong. Allah will have cast al-wahan in their hearts. And the man said, what is al-wahan? Al-wahan is when we love the dunya and we hate to die. So I ask all of you to look at yourselves. Never be silent, because silence, my fellow Muslims, silence is betrayal of your ummah.
Takbir!
Assalamu alaikum. Sister Nazma will now give the dua in Arabic.
تكبير الله أكبر والعزة لله لا إله إلا الله والشاهد حبيب الله لا إله إلا الله اليهود أعداء الله لا إله إلا الله حكام العرب أعداء الله لا إله إلا الله والخلافة وعد الله الأمة تريد تحرير فلسطين الأمة تريد تحرير فلسطين
Jazakallahu khair to Sister Aisha Douglas.